Hey everyone, this is the NLA Ninja with Rampant Design Tools, here to bring you another edition of Running Rampant. For today's tutorial, I'll be showcasing what you can do with Shadowlight. Shadowlight is a collection of 388 gritty and hard-hitting light effects that can enhance or complement any video project. Available in 2K, 4K, and 5K, you get some really cool organic light effects that works with any editing or compositing software on the market. Knowing how cool Shadowlight is, let me show you the examples I'll be showcasing today. For my first example, I will break down how I made this fake network identifier in After Effects using Shadowlight, Yanobox Motype, Trapcode Shine, and stock footage. For my second example, I will show you how to create an entrance video for an MMA superstar using Shadowlight, Element 3D, Red Giant Guru presets, and Action Essentials 2. Without further ado, let's run rampant. I'm here in After Effects with the fake network identifier I created. Let's break down how this came to be. For my background, I used some time-lapse footage of Los Angeles at night. To brighten up the speed trails you see, I applied the diffuse glow from Red Giant Universe and messed with the settings. I use clips 006, 008, and 017 from the Shadowlike collection. Utilizing blend modes like add and subtract, I placed them at various points to give each a chance to stand out. For the text layers, I used a plugin called Motype from Yanobox, which works through FX Factory. The preset that caught my eye was the basic classic orange. Tweaking the parameters to my liking, I got a text animation that looks like this. For the dancer animation, I used a pre-keyed clip from dancestock.com. I moved her position to the left edge of the screen and pre-comped her accordingly. To get the white silhouette animation you see, I used a fill plugin along with Trapcode Shine and had it animate in with a linear wipe transition. With another instance of the dancer pre-comped, I set it up so the silhouette would dissolve into the girl using a gradient wipe transition. To brighten her up a bit, I added the Red Giant diffuse glow again. In the main composition, I used a light wrap filter to have her blend in with the background better. For the RDT logo animation, I used iDutch Revolution's Volumetrics and chose the preset Horror Flick. With the progress keyframed over a second, we get the logo animating into place with the other elements. With a little music added, I came to this result. It's really cool when you can combine many filters and elements together with Shadowlight and let your imagination run wild. Let me show you how to create a superstar entrance using Shadowlight. If you have ever watched the WWE, you may notice when superstars come out, they're introduced with a theme song and a video which highlights who they are and what they've done over time. With all that production value, it helps sell the superstar to the crowd and hopefully makes them memorable. I'm going to show you how to create an entrance video of an athlete so that you can have an awesome entrance. Let's take a look. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud 2015 as well as After Effects Creative Cloud 2015. I'll also be using footage from Edit Stock to create this entrance, which you can check out here. In addition to the Shadowlike Clips, I'll also be using MovieType Element 3D version 2 from MotionWorks, Video Copilot's Action Essentials 2, and Nando Costa's Elements for Trapcode collection. Let me jump over to my starter sequence where I have my clips cut as well as my song and placeholder titles. What you see now is just the first loop, so when we have our effects in place, we can duplicate everything across time. The first thing I want to do is find a suitable place for Shadowlike Clips in the first 8 seconds of the video. Let's use Shadowlike Clips 044, 080, 099, 100, and 101. For clip 080, I'll place it over my first clip at the beginning and trim the length to match. With the clip selected, I'm going to go to the Effects Control panel, twirl down the motion parameter, and I'm going to change the position to taste. Since we have a green color being cast from the lights of our clip, we're going to have all of our Shadowlike clips have a green theme. So in order to change the color from where it is now to green, let's go to our effects panel and let's type in HLS. Let's double click Color Balance HLS to apply it to our clip. I'm going to rotate the hue until it's green, or I'm just going to type in the value 214, which I did when I created this the first time. So right now our Shadowlike clip now has a green cast on it, so we've taken care of our first clip. Let's move on to our training placeholder sequence right here, and let's apply clip 44. For clip 044, let's place it on track 2, and I'm going to move my placeholder title to track 3. If you need to, trim the length of your Shadowlike clip 044 to match the length of your placeholder title. Let's select the Shadowlike clip and tweak some settings. In the Effects Control panel, I'm going to twirl down the motion parameter, and I'm going to change the scale from 100 to 57. Let's twirl down the opacity parameter. Let's change the blend mode from normal to add. For my next 2 clips, I have the champ at the stairs here. So for these 2 clips, I'm going to use Shadowlike Clips 100 and 101. I'm going to use clip 101 as an overlay and 100 as a transition. I'm going to grab clip 100 right here, Now since this is longer than our 2 clips, I'm going to have to trim the duration to match the length, and I'm going to move it to track 2. With Shadowlike Clip 101 still selected, let's go to the Effects Control panel. Let's scroll down the motion parameter, and let's change the scale from 100 to 55. Let's go to the opacity parameter. Let's get rid of this dead keyframe here, and let's change the opacity from 100 to 75. Let's change our blend mode from normal to lighten. With clip 101 taken care of, let's grab clip 100 and place it on track 3. This will act as our transition between our 2 clips with the champion on the stairs. So I'm going to select it, go to the motion parameter, I'm going to change the scale from 100 to 56, twirl on the opacity, get rid of this keyframe, and change the blend mode from normal to color dodge. With that taken care of, this is what our first 6 seconds are shaping up to look like. Not bad. Let's move on to placing clip 099 between our 2 clips here. I'm going to grab clip 099 and place it right about here. This will now act as a transition between the talent walking in the darkness and the ramped up shot of him on the staircase. Since this is slightly longer than what I need it to be, I'm going to select it. I'm going to right click, go to speed and duration. I'm going to change the speed from 100% to 125. With our clip still selected, let's go to the effects control panel. Let's throw it on the motion parameter. I'm going to change the scale from 100 to 65. I'm going to twirl it on the opacity parameter. And I'm going to change the blend mode from normal to linear dodge. Now if I scroll over the clip, you'll see that it has a blue like cast color to it. So what I need to do is I need to add the color balance HLS filter once again. So with it still highlighted here, I'm going to double click and I'm going to change the hue from 0 to 214. And this will give us that neon green look that we have established throughout this entire piece. So if we take a look at what we've done so far, it's shaping up to be quite an entrance video. Now, we're nowhere near done yet, but we've gotten the first few Shadowlike clips that we want to use in place. Now that we have our Shadowlike clips taken care of in this section of the video, we can move on to taking care of some compositing on one of the clips, and that's going to be on this clip right here. For this clip, I want to try compositing flares flying from behind him to give it a much more dramatic effect. Before I can put the flares behind him, I'm going to need to use the masking capabilities of Premiere Pro CC. Let's draw a mask outline around our fighter by going to the Effects Control panel, twirling down the opacity parameter, and grabbing the Freeform Bezier Draw tool. With our mask in place, let's change the mask feather from 10 to 328. Then, let's go to the mask expansion and change the value from 0 to 94. In the project panel, let's grab Passing Red Lights 07 and place that on track 1. If I play this clip right now, you'll see that we'll have red flares passing behind him. Like I've done with the other clips, let's select our Passing Red Lights 07, and let's grab the Color Balance HLS filter, and let's double click to apply it to our Passing Red Lights clip. Let's change the hue to its green, or you can type in the value 128. We have this section of the entrance video taken care of. Let's move on to another section and place some Shadowlike clips there as well. On this clip, where the talent is ground punching, let's use Shadowlike Clip 106 as an overlay on track 3. With our clip selected, let's go to the Effects Control panel, and let's just go to the opacity parameter, and let's change the blend mode to linear dodge. From there, let's add a color balance HLS filter, and let's adjust the hue until it's green. The last thing I want to do is add some shattered glass on track 2. So I'm going to go to my project panel, I'm going to navigate to the root of my project panel, I'm going to go to glass layers. From the Video Copilot Action Essentials 2 collection, I'm going to use Glass Smash 03. With the clip selected, let's right click, let's navigate to Scale to Frame Size. In the Effects Control panel, let's scroll down the motion parameter, let's change the scale to 138. For the position, let's position it so that it lines up with our punch. So the values that I had were 750 and 707. So if I play it back, that's what I get. Let's move on to our next clip, which is a POV shot. For this clip, we have a POV shot of the fighter punching at the screen, which I slowed down. I want to use Shadowlight in a different way, so let's add a square mask to it first. So I'm going to select this, go to the program monitor, let's scale this down a bit. Not too much. Let's throw on the opacity parameter. Let's get rid of this phantom opacity keyframe. And then let's make a square mask. With our square mask in place, let's feather this quite a bit. I'm going to change the feather from 10 to 377 and change the mask expansion to 125. For this clip, I want to use Shadowlike Clips 002 and 118. So I'm going to go back to my project panel. I'm going to navigate to my Shadowlike Clips. And I'm going to move my POV clip to track 3. Let's place Shadowlike Clip 0002 on track 2. And place Shadowlike Clip 118 on track 1. For clip 0002, let's go to the Effects Control panel. Let's get rid of this keyframe and change the opacity from 100 to 65. Change the blend mode from normal to linear dodge. To maintain our green theme, let's once again add our favorite filter, Color Balance HLS. And let's change the hue from 0 to 106. For clip 118, let's scroll down the motion parameter, and let's bring down the scale from 100 to 58. Let's scroll down the opacity parameter, let's get rid of this keyframe. Let's change the opacity value from 100 to 55. Everything else, leave the same. And this is what it looks like with our POV clip and Shadowlight. With this effect, we have Shadowlight appearing on the edges of our clip. Let's move on to our next clip and add Shadowlight along with some action essentials to make it look even cooler. For this clip with our fighters kicking the bag, I want to use another trapcode element called Rampant Flares 01. So I'm going to go to my project browser. I'm going to navigate to the root of it. I'm going to go to my Nando elements. I'm going to find that clip. Here it is. Let's place this Rampant Flares 01 on track 2. Now right now we can't see anything because we haven't given this a blend mode. So once we do, then things will look a lot better. So I'm going to select this clip. I'm going to scroll down the motion parameter. Let's click on this. Let's zoom out a bit from our program monitor. And since I can't see anything, I'm going to scroll down the opacity and change the value from 100 to 5%. So we can actually see where things need to be lined up. So the point of this is I'm going to try to line up the random flare with when he kicks the bag. So there's the frame where he kicks the bag. So let's move our anchor point to that. Let me make some small subtle adjustments. The first thing we want to do before we change the blend mode and the opacity to a different values, we want to animate this exploding over about 2 frames. So I'm going to move 3 frames in. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to set the scale from 100 to 206 and add a keyframe. I'm going to move my playhead 2 frames forward. 1, 2. And I'm going to change the value to 377. Now let's change the opacity back from 5% to 100. And change the blend mode from normal to linear dodge. The last thing I need to do is add a circular mask, so let's draw one. So in the opacity parameter, let's click on the Create Ellipse Mask button, and let's adjust it to taste. With our circular mask drawn, let's change the mask feather from 10 to 178. And we have the first part of our kick blast taken care of. Let's top this off with Shadowlike Clip 014. So I'm going to go back to my project browser. I'm going to go to my Shadowlike Clips. I'm going to grab that clip, Shadowlight 14, right here, and let's place it on track 3. Just like I did for the random flares, I'm going to click on Shadowlight 014. I'm going to change the opacity from 100 to about 5%. Let's find the frame where our fighter kicks the bag. Right there. And let's reposition the Shadowlike clip so that it's over his foot. Just like I did for the random flares 01, I'm going to animate this over 2 seconds. So let's go to the beginning of our clip. Let's move 3 frames forward. 1, 2, 3. Let's set a value for scale at 180. And add a keyframe. Let's move 2 frames forward. 1, 2. And change the value to 237. In the opacity parameter, let's jack it back up to 100% and change the blend mode from normal to add. And once again, let's draw another circular mask. With our circular mask in place, let's feather this quite a bit. So let's change the mask feather from 10 to 449. And let's take a look at what our kick blast looks like so far. Looks pretty cool. Now, since we don't need this up for too long and the kick is relatively quick, let's add some cross dissolves at the out point of both of these elements. So I'm going to select this, right click. I'm going to apply default transition, which is a cross dissolve. I'm going to double click it and change the duration to 3 frames. Let's copy this, select the out point of our random flares, hit Command V or Control V if you're on a Windows PC, and paste. Let's take a look at what this looks like so far. Pretty cool. Let's take a look real quick at what we've done so far in this section with the Shadowlike clips. Now that we've taken care of all of our live action shots, let's move on to our titles. Here in After Effects, I have 3 compositions with titles that are using presets from MovieType Element 3D version 2. They all have the same bevels and materials applied for continuity purposes. The first title highlights how the fighter is a multiple-time world champion. That will be our first animation we see when the fighter is walking down the stairs. For this animation, I use the Camera In 09 preset to give it a quick zoom feel. The next title is the fighter's fake name that I came up with. For this animation, I used the Cascade 03 preset and added a slight Y rotation afterwards to showcase the depth of the title. The last title is the fighter's name again, but this one is held up longer for readability. For this animation, I use the In and Out 05 preset. Now, if you're an Adobe Creative Cloud user, then you know you have the ability to bring these comps in and use the Render and Replace function inside of Premiere Pro. Let me jump back to Premiere Pro and place these rendered animations in the right places. I'm back here in Premiere Pro, and I've already gone ahead and placed each of the title animations in their appropriate spots. The 5-time champ animation happens at the 2-second mark where my playhead is right now. The second animation happens here at about the 10-second mark. And the last animation happens at about the 21-second mark. Let's add some Shadowlike Clips as well as some trapcode elements to these title animations. So I'm going to navigate to the root of my project panel. I'm going to go to my Nano Elements, and I'm going to grab Passing Red Lights 002. Let's place that on track 1. Let's trim the length to taste. Now, since this is a red light, we're going to need to maintain the green theme. So with the clip selected, let's grab the Color Balance HLS filter. Let's double click. Let's change the hue from 0 to 102. Alright, so we now have our World Champion animation taken care of. Let's go to our first fake name title animation here. Let's use Shadowlike Clip 080 on track 1. So I'm going to navigate to my project panel once again. I'm going to grab Shadowlight 080 and let's place that on track 1. With the clip selected, let's go to the motion parameter. Let's change our position from 960 to 900. Let's change the scale from 100 to 70. Let's change rotation to -11. I'm going to twirl on the opacity parameter and change the blend mode from normal to add. Let's add the Color Balance HLS filter once again to maintain our green theme. Let's change the hue from 0 to 214. Next, let's add another Passing Red Lights clip, which will be clip 07. With the clip selected, let's change the blend mode and the opacity parameter from normal to screen. And once again, let's add the Color Balance HLS filter and change the hue from 0 to 102 to give it the green look. Let's grab our 2 clips here and here. Let's option drag a duplicate to our second title animation. With our 2 duplicates here, let's extend their lengths and also modify their speed duration to match the length of our second title animation. So here's what our title animation looks like with the Passing Red Lights clip as well as Shadowlike Clip 080. The last thing I want to do is add one last Shadowlike clip to transition between our title animation here and our clip of the fighter staring into the screen. So I'm going to use Shadowlike Clip 058. With Shadowlike Clip 058 selected, let's go to the motion parameter. Let's change the scale from 100 to 56. Let's change the blend mode and the opacity parameter from normal to add. Since this has a blue theme going on, let's change the color from blue to green by using the Color Balance HLS filter. Let's change the hue from 0 to 214. And if we play through this, this is what we have. We have all of our elements and effects in place now. So all we have to do is highlight all of our video and option drag a duplicate about 2 times to cover the length of the song. I'm going to step away for a quick second and I'm going to do that just now. After a render of my entire timeline, this is the finished result. What we get is an awesome entrance video for a fighter as he walks down the ring. Obviously, you could push what I did much further, and I encourage you to do so. What was great about doing this particular effect was it was great to see how well Shadowlight plays well with other stock elements when mixed together. Like I said before, Shadowlight is a great collection of elements that can enhance or complement your video projects. I strongly recommend that you download the free trial clips and add this to your video effects library. You can learn more about this product and other Rampant products by visiting the Rampant Design Tools website here. You can also keep up with Rampant Design Tools by following them on Twitter at Rampant Design. And don't forget to like their Facebook page here. I'm the NLE Ninja with NLE Ninja Effects, asking you to stay creative and run rampant. Thanks for watching.